martial artist, photographer, and a dad. This is my second time around to interview a great photographer, one of my influence, and another. Once I became a part of their team, member of Parkwood. My great honor to introduce to you Mr. Andy James, photographer, cinematographer, fashion photographer. How you doing, my friend?
Hi, Caesar. Good to see you.
Great to see you. Thank you for your time. I know you're a
No,
busy
no
person.
problem. It's lovely to be
Yeah.
able to come on.
Yeah, it's great. So before we start, I know you're a busy person. Before we start, are you still doing some photography or more on cinematography now?
Yeah, more video at the moment. But this week I've actually got my first studio shoot coming up.
Okay.
First shoot for 9 months.
My God,
So I'm
that's a
actually
long
back in the
time.
studio.
That's a
Which
long
will be really
time.
good.
I know. Well, on my first question, it's great to see that you're okay in your family to on a pandemic like this.
Yeah.
My first question, where did you start photography? When did you start photography?
When? That was a long time ago. I was about 10.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad had always been into photography. He'd
Mm-hmm.
always been a keen photographer. Had a film SLR
Oh, wow.
back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd always encouraged me to take pictures. And then when I was about 10, my great uncle passed away,
Oh,
and he was a photographer, and I inherited
okay.
all of his darkroom equipment.
Wow,
So I
you're
was age
lucky.
10 and then suddenly had all this darkroom equipment available to me. So there was this ability now to go and take pictures and then develop them and have this magic of watching a photo come out from the developing
Yeah.
bath and from nothing to suddenly be there, which
Yeah.
was amazing as a 10-year-old.
Exciting. I know the feeling. So when you started, did you suddenly realize you wanted to do it somewhere in the future to be a career or more of a fun and games for your part?
Yeah, initially it was fun, just a hobby. And carried on that way for quite a while. And then in 2004, just at the sort of start of most people getting into digital photography, so I set up the company and then decided to do that as a business venture.
Okay. So why photography then? Is it because it's the where your background with your dad and your uncle was, or
No, well, that's part of it, but I like being creative. And I'm absolutely rubbish at drawing and painting and anything art like that.
welcome to the
I just can't do.
club?
Unlike your previous photographer, David Tovey, who
Yeah.
is an
He loves
extremely
drawing.
talented
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah, I know. You
Yeah, I
introduced him to
can't.
me. You're good friends too.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't draw. So the taking photos was my way to be creative, and I just still get a real buzz from taking a picture and seeing how it's worked out, whether I've managed to capture what I was intending in my head. You still get that thrill of a picture that you enjoy.
Well, when we were in Parkwood, how long have you been in Parkwood when you came in? You've been there for a while already?
Yeah, I
I came
joined
in
there in.
2004, December, if I could
I was trying to
remember.
work out when you actually joined Parkwood.
Oh,
I was looking
okay.
back through some of my records, and it must have
Yeah.
been around then because
Oh,
we
okay.
had the first Caesar Challenge
Yeah, I know.
not long after that.
Yeah, I know. I remember that
So
one.
yeah, I joined Parkwood in 1995.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'd been there a
You've
few
been
years, but it
covered in
got
BBC too, the whole group, isn't it? I could remember that part.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it was the
So it
best
went through.
camera club I was.
That was a good club.
It's a great club. I
Yeah.
miss the group. To be honest. All of the members there. One time I even told my wife, if I can go back in a few years' time, my wife said, you'll be the senior then that time.
Yes.
Before you were the youngest, now you're going to be the senior there. I'll be talking about our old stories then.
Yeah,
Excuse
well,
me.
we'll have to go back.
I know. We have to go back. I miss the group. I miss everybody and the things we do there. Did you have a chance to visit them in the past?
I've not been recently. Probably
Mm,
about 3 years ago, I
mm.
popped into an evening just to say hello to people. Um, yeah, I need to try and find some more time
I know, same,
to
same.
go there.
Uh, showed me an image of your winning photo. What transpired? Meaning, how did you capture that? Did you think of, oh, this is the image I want to take pictures, or how did you felt when you took that photo?
It was a really strange story behind that picture. So I think you're talking about the two
Yeah, the
statues.
two statues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was on a training course in London for a week, and having been up there a few days, I'd seen some images that I thought would be quite nice to capture. And I had an hour lunch break on my course and went to Trafalgar Square
Mm-hmm.
with my camera.
Uh-huh.
Just went around. That was one of the last pictures or what last rolls of slide film that I took
Oh, right.
before I switched over to digital entirely.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, all right.
I think it's about 2001, 2002,
Mm.
something like that. Um, so yeah, went to Trafalgar Square for lunchtime, walked around, and then I just saw this image there with the girl sitting
I know. It's
almost meditating in front of the
yeah.
statue, and I thought, oh, that's just going to work perfectly. She had no idea that that picture was being taken.
I remember that because he kept winning in all the
It did, yeah,
competitions. I
it
remember
did
that
very well
too.
for me.
I know. It was really, really great. Other than that, you have your agency, isn't it? You still have it, the photo3.co.uk.
Yes,
You still
yeah,
have it, and you still do modeling shoots and everything. When
not
when
so
you
much as I was, but yeah, I do.
yeah, when you invited me to join you in the Swatch Fashion Show in London, was it somebody invited you or something like that? First
Yes,
encountered fashion show?
yeah, I was invited. I think I'd been invited in 2006 was the first time I went, and I think we went together in
Yeah, we went
2007,
together.
didn't we?
That's one. Yeah, it was really a
So
great
yeah, they said
experience. Yeah,
come along, and then having seen the images from the previous year,
I
they
know.
invited me back, and a couple of designers wanted pictures from us. So
Oh yeah, that's great.
um,
Yeah, I remember that one. Also, I remember I had a chance to work with you with your dad. He's another great photographer, which I
yeah,
wish one day I could also interview. Would be great. Yeah. Uh we went to a party, if I could remember that. Was it a company party, isn't it? The first
yes,
assignment, and then it was funny enough because I was thinking about it today. I remember you told me then that time, what you gonna do, Cesar? You're just gonna be back me up, and we'll do all the photos, and you'll be assisting me. And I was like that. Then suddenly you changed your mind. You said you saw me talking to everybody. Ah, you could take pictures of anybody you want to. I was laughing. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I
yeah.
learned
You
a
did
lot. I learned a lot from you that night, and how your dad approached you approached them. That's really great experience.
you did a
And
great job that evening. It was
yeah, it
you're
was
very
really
natural
good.
talking to people to get them posing.
And it was fun though. It was really fun. It was at the same time when I went, oh wow, I learned a lot from tonight.
Yeah.
Another thing about you doing, like you said, from the last part of your slides going to digital photography. Was it because it's an in thing that time, or was it because you really want to make your result easier to see nowadays? The reason you jumped to digital photography?
Initially, I suppose it was just to be able to see the
Mm-hmm.
images more quickly.
Quicker, yeah.
But I could also start to see a gap in the market on the commercial side,
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people were still stuck with film,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people that were wanting to have portrait shoots wanted to have them digitally so they could see them, share them, email them,
Yeah, that's
whatever.
true.
Um, and then yeah, decided that that was the time to switch to digital. And once I'd switched, you just didn't go back.
I know. Well, what can you say about the mirrorless nowadays? Are you using one now?
I'm not. I'm still on the Canon 6D,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is doing everything I need.
The same with me. Yeah,
There's
I do
obviously
agree.
been lots of other cameras released since then. I think the one I've got's about 10 years old now,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't see any reason to change.
Same with me because literally you have to change even the lenses, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, you
You
use an
still,
adapter to use it. It's still not, for me, same machine is still not worth, isn't it?
yeah, you
Yeah,
still using Nikon?
yeah, still the same. Old Nikon guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, old Nikon guy still. Oh, and also, that my last two questions, and you already asked. Is there any particular love that photography that you really love to do in the fields of photography other than fashion and model shoots in the past?
I think portraiture, taking
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
portraits,
Yeah.
is the main thing that I really enjoy. I just find I can try and get the best out of people,
Mhm.
and the buzz of
I know.
having somebody look at their picture afterwards
And so happy to see the
yeah, and
result,
being really
isn't it?
pleased with it.
I know,
Um,
I know.
there's a friend of mine. I attended his wedding. It was over 10 years ago now, and I wasn't there as a photographer. I was there as a
A
guest,
guest.
but had my camera as you
I,
do. Um,
I
and I
think that's
got a
stuck with
photo of
us
him.
already.
Yeah,
It's connected
yeah, stuck
somewhere.
to me. And I got a photo of him on his wedding day, and it's still his profile picture on Facebook
Oh
10 years
wow, that's
later.
great. That's great.
And you just think that there's something special about that, that
Of
you can
course,
capture
of
a
course.
picture that someone likes that much that they keep it for so long.
I know. Actually, that's another thing I would like also thank because of you, because of Glenn, because of all of Parkwood that I learned a lot. And I remember I brought my friend there from the Philippines. He's a photographer for the president. He was
Yeah.
so thankful that he was given a chance to meet all of you because the experience that they saw, the sharing of the stories, especially you both love Canon, so there you go. You enjoy talking to each other more. Yeah, it's a great feeling. He said to me, he's very thankful about it. Although he's now in Miami, he's based
Okay.
in
Well,
Miami now. Yeah, based in Miami. I don't know if he's still doing photography or doing another job now. So yeah. My last question, don't wanna I know you're busy even though it's pandemic. My last question is any tips and advice in doing photography for starters, for beginners?
um, yeah, it's a difficult one. And probably the main advice I'd have for anyone is just get out there and practice. So the camera doesn't really matter too much. Even the cheapest DSLR now will do a fantastic job. Even something secondhand, you can probably pick something up for £100.
Mm-hmm.
Um, experiment, try the different settings on there. So you've got the control of the aperture, you've got control of the shutter speed, you've got control of the ISO setting. Experiment across all of those. It doesn't cost you anything,
It's true. True.
which is the big difference compared to film.
Mm.
I remember back in the day when I was starting out on film, and I'd got a little notebook, and for every frame I
Setting,
took,
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
written down what the shutter setting was, what the
yeah.
aperture was, so that when I got the pictures back,
You
I
would
could
know.
then compare notes and see what
Yeah,
actually worked.
yeah.
The beauty now is you can do all that
In one go, isn't
with
it?
in one go. You haven't got to worry about what the settings were because you can look at the EXIF information to check which setting worked best.
I know, I
Um,
know.
so I think, yeah, get out there and practice. Personally, I don't think that um, things like degrees in photography are really worthwhile. I think having the experience and practice means far more than that sort of qualification.
That's true.
Some of the best photographers I know and have seen developing over the time are ones that have not been to college for
Yeah.
photography, that have just got a
Self-taught, isn't
natural
it?
skill.
Yeah, self-taught, isn't
And
it?
there was somebody else that was working with me. They were just starting out about 10 years ago, helping me out in the studio. I'd seen some of their work, and they'd just left school but had got a camera and some prime lenses,
Hmm.
and the quality of work they were producing was amazing.
I know.
Considering they were 18, 18, 19, just left school, and they were producing better work than photographers that have been in the industry 20 years.
That's true.
Um, so, yeah, it's having that, nurturing that talent and getting out there and
And
practicing.
the love of it, isn't it? You have to
Yeah.
love the profession, isn't it? Oh, Andy,
Yeah,
anything you want to promote? So I know you do cinema photography too. Anything you want to promote? Your
yeah. That's
website?
the video is something I don't know. You're obviously doing video now as well, but
Yeah, but not that
that's
good. Still doing
so that
one.
was the thing that sort of hit me with the. There was a camera called the Canon 5D Mark
Yeah, I
II.
heard about it. Yeah, I heard about it.
Came out in about 2008,
Yeah.
2009. And I bought one of these cameras for wedding photography,
Mm-hmm.
and the video feature on it was just a gimmick at the time, or I thought was a gimmick at the time. And I then did a few videos using a selection of lenses,
Mm-hmm.
and the quality of video it was producing just blew me away.
I know, I
And I put
know.
a few of those videos on YouTube that I'd taken. In fact, one of the videos was related to a picture that I sent you, which was of a
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
lorry
yeah,
fire on the
yeah, yeah,
motorway.
yeah, yeah. That one. Yeah, yeah.
I was driving home from work one day and saw a lorry that had got some smoke coming from
Mm-hmm.
under it. I'd got a fire extinguisher in the car with me
Mm-hmm.
and thought, oh, just pull over and
Mm-hmm.
see if they need any help,
Mm-hmm.
and I can help let
Yeah,
them use the fire
yeah.
extinguisher to put it out. It got to the point as soon as I turned up there that the fire was so big that my
Oh, yeah,
little
yeah.
fire extinguisher wasn't going to do anything.
So I can only do the tires.
No.
Yeah.
But I had got my camera with me in the car
Mm-hmm.
and decided to start filming
Mm-hmm.
all the way through from the fire developing and the fire brigade turning up. And fortunately, I'd parked in front of the lorry, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, half a mile up the road or up the motorway. So I wasn't behind the roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as I stopped, I just drove off. Everybody behind was stuck on the motorway for hours because this lorry had caught fire. So I had a perfectly clear motorway I was able to drive home
Oh,
on.
that's great though. And that's another thing about before we finish this one. That good ethics before you take picture, you have to help first, which
Yeah,
some don't really understand nowadays. That they all want to think about this is a good moment to shoot, but
just taking
beforehand you
pictures.
have like you did. You run there with your fire extinguisher, and you know that's too much already. That's the time you take picture. At least you did
Yeah,
the effort, isn't it? It's not like
yeah, that's a really good
always
point,
wanted the
Caesar.
story without even helping the other people with that kind of case.
Yeah,
I know. Again, Andy, thank you very much for your time. It was great,
no
and
problem. It's been lovely talking to you, Caesar.
thank you. And I always say, stay safe, always, my good friend, because
Yeah.
COVID's still here, and I'm very thankful I could still talk to all of you.
Oh, it's fantastic to see you back
I
and
know.
yeah,
Yeah,
back and
it was
talking
really a
of
shock for
photography and
me. I know, and it's great that I could see you all again,
yeah,
and hopefully we could see again in Parkwood. I'm
yeah,
just visiting the place though. Again, thank you very much, Andy, for your time.
no problem.
Have a great Sunday weekend, and
Yeah,
have a good
and
day. This
you.
is Cesar, a martial artist, photographer, and a dad, with my good friend, fashion photographer, cinematographer, model photographer, Mr. Andy James. Thank you, mate. Goodbye.
Thanks, Caesar.
Bye.
Bye.